everybody, in today's video I'm going to share with you how to make Instant Pot or Crock Pot applesauce. So it is just about that time of year where apples are going to be popping up everywhere. It's apple season, and I know that we went to our local orchard yesterday and got a bushel, a peck, one of the two, the big bags of apples. We had so many apples, and I knew I wanted to go ahead and cook them down because I love making this recipe. It is so delicious, and it can be 2 ingredients. If you want to get fancy like me, it's 4. Let's go do it.
So the apple orchard that we have that is local to us is not an organic apple farm. So I like to try to get as much of the pesticides off of the outside of the apples as I can. So what I do is I put the apples in Instant Pot liners, and then I fill it up with water and maybe 5 to 6 tablespoons of baking soda. You could do a fruit and veggie wash. You could even just rinse the apple under the faucet, whatever you want to do. There was a study that shows that apple pesticides can be removed by using baking soda and water. So I'm like, well, why not? Give it a try. It's a non-toxic way to get pesticides off your apples. So I just fill up the Instant Pot liner with the apples and the water. And then since they float, right, I like to put a plate on top so that all of the apple is submerged in the liquid that's going to help take the pesticides off. I let those sit for about 15 minutes. And after that time is up, then I strain them into the sink. So I just drain off the water. You can see at the end here how cloudy it is towards the end of it. Ugh. And then I rinse it off really good a couple of times just to get the wash off of it. So at this point in time, this is where a apple peeler, apple corer, apple slicer would be really, really helpful. I don't have one of those, so I'm using a knife, and I make really large, chunky apple pieces. I don't chop them really finely. I like chunky applesauce, so I just make them as big as possible. Apples are so high in vitamin C. This is a great recipe to use to help you stay healthy during the fall and winter time. Cinnamon as well. Cinnamon is also very good for our immune system, so I put cinnamon in my apples. You can totally leave this part out. This is about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. In addition to this, for extra vitamin C, I actually do a cup of water with the juice of a lime in it. I think it makes it taste really good, and it's extra vitamin C, so I add that to my Instant Pot or your Crock Pot. If you're doing Crock Pot, you wouldn't have to do this step, actually. Plain water would be just fine. So then in the Instant Pot, I do 4 minutes on manual high. In my Crock Pot, I do about 2 to 3 hours on low, and just let them cook down. So good. Such a great recipe for fall. Look at that. We've got applesauce. Now, I did a natural release on the Instant Pot. I have done manual release before where I turned the knob and it got apple juice and apple pulp all over my kitchen. So I don't recommend that. Do the natural release, and you'll be a lot happier that you did that. Trust me when I say. But it smells so good, and it's so good for our immune system and like all the things. It's just a great little recipe. So what I do with this afterward is, see, there's a lot of liquid in there. I strain that off into a bowl, and I want to let these cool also. So I just take a big slotted spatula and just drain the apples off into a bowl there. It's just such a great recipe and so easy. And while I was talking about immune system, if you guys are interested in learning more about how to keep your immune system healthy this fall, I've got a class coming up on Facebook. So check the link in the description bar below, and you can get the details for that. Now, what I don't show you is I strained these a couple of times because it kept getting super duper liquidy in the bottom of the bowl, so I just kept taking it to the sink. So then after they are cool, I put them into a Pyrex container, and I'll keep them in the fridge for 2 to 3 days. I'll just eat out of those. I love cold applesauce. It's just so delicious. So after 2 to 3 days, I know people say, oh, you can can them, you can whatever. I don't trust myself enough to can them. So what I do for long-term storage, I actually put them in ice cube trays. And I put them in like the little individual portions. Normally when I'm having these after they're frozen, I'll do maybe 2 to 3 apple ice cubes. And they're really good frozen, or you can let them thaw maybe on your counter for, 5 to 10 minutes, or you can put them in the refrigerator for a few hours to thaw that way. Or you could even stick them in a microwave if you wanted to, or like a toaster oven, and just help them thaw. But they are so delicious and really easy to store this way. After I pop them in the freezer, just keep them in some Ziplocs, and you've got apples forever.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't already and you'd like to, hit that button down below, subscribe so you never miss a daily video. Happy applesauce making. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ciao.